G'day there, legends. Calvin here. Calvin's Captains, round 16. Now, this week, oh boy, got some dingers for you. Now, here's a little bit of a housekeeping matter. Don't forget, there are our shows that are coming up in South Australia and over there in WA. There's one show left in each place. Make sure you get along. Adelaide, we've got the pig. We've got Tom Rockcliffe coming along if you don't mind. The others, though, I'm sure we're going to have some special guests lined up and bringing the guitar, pumping out some tunes. It is going to be old school DT Talk, boys. Having a few beers, chatting fantasy. You cannot go wrong. Make sure you are there. It is an amazing night and it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into these humdingers, I promised you. Let's kick it off with this guy, Sam Dougherty. Now, very rarely do I ever have a defender like this, as my number one option. But hear me out. After I have told you this, you will be sold. Number one, he is the number one man based on form. He's better than all the other midfields over the last 3 weeks. He's going at 128 in his last three. They are scores of 121, 129, 135, and 114 in his last four. That is captain worthy. Now, if his name was Jack McRae, we'd be all losing our shit over this and just going, easy walk-up captain. Don't be tricked by him being a defender. Now let's have a look at what defenders did last week against the Saints. We are looking at Jake Lloyd, 9 marks, 141. Florent, 115, 12 marks. Even the Lizard, he only had 2 marks, but he still had 97. They were the 3 highest scorers for the Swans against the Saints. Against Doc now, who has an amazing run of form under the roof of Marvel, Friday night footy. I think I've said enough. If you've got him, well done. Enjoy. Great vice captain option, but you can even roll Jack McRae into it if you wanted to, who plays Thursday night. Now, McRae, geez, he didn't get it done, but his last 3 have been good. We'll say good. 97, 148, and 124. So that's pretty good across his last 3. It's not Dougherty good, but it's still good. Let's have a look at what he has scored on the Lions in the last few times he's played them. 146, 113, 160 at the Gabba. 151 at the Gabba, 98, 155, 126 at the Gabba. Right, they are by far his easiest team and most enjoyable team to rack up against. And the last few weeks, Brisbane are still giving up plenty to midfielders. They are the 5th easiest team to score against this year. He is my number 2 option. Right. Number 3, Callum Mules. You got to love Mules. He is back on the MCG where he has been great. He's already played against the Bombers this year. He had a 156. Last year he had a 152 and a 91 before that. Last week, don't be deterred by his 96. I think that's his lowest score since round 8. He's a jet. Saturday Arvo. Lock him in. Clayton Oliver hasn't really done much wrong. He had 102 last week, but he's still going at 122 in his last 5. That's legit good. Thing is, against Adelaide, his numbers are just as good. 105, 155, 164, 108 are his last 4 on the Crows. It's in Adelaide. That's my only small flag, but I'm not that concerned. This is where it gets a little bit interesting because after I go my McRae on what is Thursday night footy, I'm then rolling it into the next option I have, which is Took Miller. Now, I'm pretty confident on this, so let me just hear me out. So we had that 127 last week. He dominates the Pies. He had 140 on him already this year. Last year he had a 130 against him. And when you look at the GWS and what they did to the Pies last week, we had Cogs going at 129. There were 4 of them going over that 115 mark. Back at Metricon, I'm pretty confident. Saturday night, Took will be my captain if McRae flops, but I'm pretty bloody confident on him. Canelio came in at number 6. I didn't mind Cogs ahead of Miller there for a while, but I think it's just a bit of a safer play. Cogs has been great, though. And we all know the numbers he's been doing. He's going at 118 under his new coach. Bulldogs had 4 guys over 105 last week against the Hawks, with Bont 118, Libba 110. I just can't see Cogs going those massive ones that say a Took Miller, a Mules, an Oliver, McRae. Those guys, I don't think he's quite in that bracket yet, but he's definitely knocking on the door. Number 7, Rory Laird. Could be a lot higher than where I've got him, but hear me out. So back home, the concern here is he's coming off that 129, which is his highest score for the year. And I've written down here, he's had 6 scores of 119 or more in his last 7, right? That is legit. The problem is, and why he is a little bit lower than normal, and probably what he should be, he had 101 or 117 last year on the Demons, but it's the fact that the Demons used James Harmes to tag the other team's best midfielder, which was Lachie Neale last week, to 79 in a game they turned it around. So I'm thinking, hey, why would you change that? Why not go after the other team's best midfielder like you did last week? I don't think they're going to do it. Let's put that on the record. However, they might. If they do, that's a problem. I do not have him in the humdinger kind of category this week. Number 8, Cam Guthrie. Geez, North Melbourne at Jamie HBA. Why not? Coming off 111, 126. He should be fantastic. I don't mind Jordan Dawson either, on the fact that Melbourne are the number 1 easiest team for defenders to score against. I know he gets on a wing, but marks are the key here. Last week, Rich, 8 marks for a 112. Kitty Coleman, 10 marks for a 90. Harris Andrews, or is it Andrew Harris? Don't know. 88 for 12 marks. The fact that those 3 guys combined for 30 marks tells me there are some +6s up for grabs when you play the Demons, and there's no guy better in the comp at German up a +6 than old Dawson there. Number 10, Jack Steele scrapes in with a 124 last week, his second highest score for the year, with his second highest tackle count. Nothing wrong with that bloody shoulder. Last year, against the Blues, he had a 162, then a 138, 108, and a 119. They are his favourite team to score against in his career. So let's not chuck him in there as well. Here are some other guys I like as well. I like Mitch Duncan without Stewart. He had a 135 on him in 2001 and 83 last year. Sorry, this year he's already played him. I just think he gets a little bit of a boost here because it's North Melbourne. Just like Laird, 129, Dawson, 120, Keys, 110 last week. Another guy I like is Josh Kelly, just because he's playing the Hawks and just because he's playing it at home. His form's been a little bit down though. That 116 last week was good. Before that, 73 and 95. He only had 97 on the Hawks last year, but I still think he's going to be good. I don't mind a little bit of Zach Merritt action as well. The fact that Seb Ross, 127s, Jack Steele, 124, were good last week against the Swans. He had 118 last week, and that's his highest score since round 1. He did have a 51 against the Swans this year, but I think he's starting to get back on track, and without those other names next to him for the Bombers, and the fact that Sid St Kilda did all right last week against the Swans as far as fantasy goes, I think he could be okay. Sean Darcy, a little bit of a smoky here. The fact that Jared Witts played against Port Adelaide with the Finlayson and the Dixon combination in the ruck, he had 122 last week, Witts. I don't mind Darcy in this one either. He should be very good as well. Where are these blokes, you might say? Where's Lachie Neale? Well, the fact that he's up against the Dogs, look, it is a VC, it is a free hit, I get that, but the Dogs are the number 1 hardest to score against. He's coming off that tag game. His last 2 against the Dogs were a 99 and a 96. He actually has only gone over 120 once in a career, 11 games against the Dogs. Lachie Neale's a pass. I will also pass on McCluggage for the same reason. He's an absolute jet, though, getting it done. His numbers against the Dogs are great, though. He had a 110, 113. His form's elite, but it's a no for me. What about a Petrarca? Well, no, I'm going to pass on him as well. He was good last week, though, but his 107 is his highest score in his last 4. And he's the one I've missed out that you want to talk about, and it's Andy Brayshaw. Now, 80 last week was his lowest for the year, right? He returns home, but he's playing against Port Adelaide, who are, ready, his worst team in his career, to score against. He has never hit 100 against them. Last year, he had a 95. That's pretty bloody close, but in my book, it's not close enough. Good luck, legends!